my mom came into the room and she's like, look at my phone. And then I couldn't see it, so I had to look at mine. I'm like, oh.
I can't bet against Tom Brady. I have the Bucks winning 31-27 and Tom Brady going to his 10th championship.
Yeah, and I really think the Clippers' chance to win the championship was last year. And they were up 3-1 against the Denver Nuggets.
Chris Paul is one of the most underrated players of all time. He's been the best player wherever he goes, and that includes with the Rockets.
You said you can't bet against Tom Brady, and as a Cowboys fan and what I just did last weekend, I am not going to bet against Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl. I mean, that's all I can really say. There's two of the top 5 players in the league, and they are very, very good.
Hello, I'm Taylor Hearn, and you listen to The Outsiders' Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our MLB Opinions of the Week. I'm Kevin. I'm joined by the man that what a hot corner there is in the MLB right now.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, and I do think there's a lot of names here that are really good. A lot of guys that obviously are going to be big parts of all their rosters, and I think this is another position that only has truly like one MVP candidate guy and everybody else, but this is definitely significantly better than the second baseman group.
Yes, it is. And there's some guys on bounce backs. I think you could argue a second MVP guy, but he is getting older, so we'll have to see. But yeah, we can talk about that when we get to it. Do you have any honorable mentions?
This was a little bit confusing because I don't have Edwin Suarez on my list because I think he's going to be a DH. So okay. I don't know if you have him on your list because I don't have him on mine because I have him as a DH. Because there's no way he plays over Brian Hayes.
That's a good point. So I can quickly do that because you're right. I imagine him as a third baseman, but he isn't a third baseman.
This is a for 2026, right? I bet he plays 10 games at third all season. There's just unless they trade Brian Hayes, which obviously we can't predict that. So under the precedent that they keep him on the roster, there's no way he plays third more than just the games that either Brian Hayes misses with injury or gets off with rest.
Yeah. And then I would say another clarifier for me, I know I should have asked you this before, but Bo Bichette I do not count as a third baseman.
Okay, neither did I. I don't know where Bo Bichette's going to play, but because they also have Jorge Polanco. Yeah. They have Marcus Semien. They have so many middle infielders that I didn't know where to put them. So, yeah.
I saw him on one list. I'm like, he's not going to be third baseman. So,
I think he's going to be a DH, probably.
And I think he's going to fill in for shortstop with Lindor injured.
Sure, but yeah.
But yeah. Do you have any honorable mentions or?
Honorable mention for me, Max Muncy is the only honorable mention I have.
Okay, he's my 10. My honorable mention is Caleb Durbin.
Okay. That's my 10. Is Durbin. Okay. Durbin was a big addition, I think, for Boston this year. He's an extremely talented fielder. And while he's not the greatest hitter in the world, he is probably the kind of the inverse of what Devers provided. But he's a solid hitter and a great fielder. And Muncy's consistent, but I think that Durbin will continue to get better. Durbin was third rookie year voting, and I think having a good team around him in Boston with a lot of older guys around him will help him continue to improve.
Yeah, I think he's very young, so he can get it. That's why he's my honorable mention. Max Muncy is my 10 because I do think he has reliability, especially on defense, and does well offensively, that he deserved to be on this list. So I can just go right into my 9, which is Maikel Garcia for the Royals. He had a fantastic year last year as he started hitting well. And I'm trying to pull up his stats. 286 batting average, hitting 16 home runs, a little bit more of a contact hitter, 121 WRC plus, 5.6 F4. He was fantastic, and it was his breakout year. So I put him above because I think he follows that up this year.
Okay, that's a good pick. I have him a little bit higher than you. My number 9 is Austin Riley. Riley's a player that has been in MVP status before. He's been top 7 MVP voting 3 straight years from 2021 to 2023. But last season was abysmal. And the year before that, he was also pretty inconsistent. So I have him this low because I'm worried about his injury history. He only played 102 games last year and 110 the year before that. And he only had a 106 OPS plus, which is not something you necessarily want to see from a guy at the hot corner that's progressively gotten worse at fielding over his career. Yes, he has very high highs in his career, but this is for this season. I have him as the 9th best third baseman.
Yeah, I'll get to him a little bit. He dealt with a lot of injuries last year and the year before that, and I think he gets back to being healthy, so that's why I'm a little bit higher. But my number 8 is Isaac Paredes for the Astros. He joined the Astros last year after joining from the Cubs. As he originally started with the Rays, he is a great hitter, as I would say, and I think defensively he's amazing. Last year, he had 20 home runs, 254 batting average, 128 WRC plus. I think he is still going to be their starter. Some people said he was going to be a bench player. I think he does well offensively and does enough defensively to make this list.
Who would start over him? Why would he be a bench
I know.
player?
I was surprised with these people because this is also the same list.
I would be absolutely and completely shocked. I have Paredes pretty high on my list, and if you compare him to a guy like Austin Riley, they played the same amount of games, and Paredes had double his WAR. 20 home runs, only 102 games, pretty impressive. We'll get to him here in a little bit. But my next guy is Maikel Garcia at 8. He's someone that came onto the scene for the Royals. He played 160 games, and I do think that's the reason why I have him over Riley on my list. He only had 16 homers and is, like you said, more of a batting average guy, hitting 286. But he had a 5.6 F4. He was a great fielder, 23 stolen bases, and even though he didn't have a lot of pop from the hot corner, he was available and consistent. Again, 5.6 F4 is extremely impressive for a player that's not hitting for power at a power position. So I think that he deserves to be on this list, and I'm kind of excited to see how he'll perform this year because he still is roughly, what is he, 25, I think, 26?
Yeah, let me check. Yeah, I can't find his age. Oh, 25. He's 25.
He turns 26 soon, though, but yeah, he's 25.
Yeah, and now I mentioned him earlier. Austin Riley is my 7. I know we're kind of in a debate between Maikel Garcia and Isaac Paredes. You have him above Austin Riley, but I think given his past 2 years and what he was before that, I think he's going to get back to what he was and do better. And last year he did not have a great year. 16 home runs, but missed out a lot of time and had a 1.7 F4. But I think he gets back to what he was when he was getting to those MVP conversations.
I think it's just going to take a lot because not only did he miss time, he also didn't play well. That's why I brought up his OPS plus. It wasn't like when you compare it to Isaac Paredes, again, who we'll get to here in a second, the difference is that Paredes is a 128 OPS plus, so he's hitting 28% above average whenever he's playing, while Austin Riley is only hitting 6% above average, which is not what you want to see from the hot corner. And again, he only had 0.1 DWAR according to Baseball Reference, so that's why I have him a little bit lower. I'm just not as confident that, like, when he was healthy, he was still not playing great. My next guy is Manny Machado. Machado is either going to be very good or not that great. He goes through those stretches every season where he's extremely impressive and then extremely poor. Last year, he was an MVP candidate early, like first half of the season. He could have won MVP if it ended that early. But during the second half of the season, he really struggled. And his defensive WAR has kind of gone down from where it had been in the past. Last year was 0.6, which is solid. But the year before that, 0.0. The year before that, 0.4, 0.1. He missed kind of like his gold glove standard, which was earlier in his career. And him being a little bit on the older side, him being 33, I have him this low. But I think it's really just how good does the Padres play around him for him to play really well.
And the inconsistency, like hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold, I don't really like that in a player. Even when Machado is hot, he's a top 5 player in the sport. But when he's cold, he cannot hit anything. He's one of the worst hitters in the sport. He goes between one of the greatest hitters I've ever watched and one of the worst hitters in the game, just 2 weeks apart from each other.
Yeah, I'm a little bit higher because I do believe in those highs, and I think he'll get as he gets older, he gets used to kind of understanding how to go through that area and just get better at bringing the lows higher than what it was. So we'll have to see what he does with the Padres, as he is a huge part of those Padres teams. So I think we can move on. My 6 is Nolan Arenado from the Diamondbacks. He did not have a great year last year, but I think he rebounds with the Diamondbacks, as well as providing great defense at that hot corner.
Okay. Nolan Arenado did not make my list. I don't really know if I believe in him too much this season. It's going to be, I mean, he was very forward. I mean, he had an on-base percentage under 290 last year. So it's going to take a lot for him to regain that confidence. But he definitely can. This is 6, right?
Yeah, 6. Yeah, he was just my 6.
Okay, so my 6 is Isaac Paredes. This is a guy that made the All-Star game last year for the Houston Astros. Someone that, again, hit 20 home runs, and he's been extremely consistent for the better part of 4 years now, and he is perfectly molded for Houston. Houston has one of the shortest left fields in baseball. They have basically what the Yankees have in right field, the Astros have in left field. It is an extremely short porch in left, which allows Isaac Paredes to pull the ball. And that's what Paredes is extremely talented at. Pulling the ball. And his home runs don't go that far, but who cares if a home run goes 500 feet? Nobody. No one's going to be like, oh, man, you can only run 3 bases now because it didn't go 500 feet. Or it didn't even go 400 feet. Paredes has a lot of home runs that don't even go 400 feet because he just puts them right over the short porch and left, and is extremely, extremely successful doing that. And I think a full season with the Astros, which he'll have this year, will allow him. He's not missed too much time with injury over his career. It was just really only last year. So I believe in him being healthy and consistent. Again, him playing at home will be very hard to pitch against because he's going to pull everything, even outside pitches.
Yeah, I see your argument for that, and we'll have to see what happens with that and how he lives up to it and if he can stay healthy. I think he's getting older, and he was moving a lot the past few years from the Rays, Cubs.
He's
and
only
now
26,
to the Astros.
though.
Man, that's crazy because it feels like he's been in the league for a while.
Yeah, he's 26. He turns 27 before the season starts, but he's 26.
Dang, that's crazy. So yeah, we'll have to see changing a lot of scenery, but I think we can move into the 5 where we talk about Isaac Paredes with the Rays. Rays just keep finding guys, and this is where Junior Caminero, fantastic hitting wise. He competed in the home run derby. Finished the year with 45 home runs, 129 WRC plus, and 264 batting average. He is so young and just about 3 to 4 years, depending on exactly when they were both born, younger than Paredes and in a stellar rookie year. And I think he keeps doing it while providing good defense.
Yeah, I have Caminero extremely high on this list. We'll get to him closer to the top.
My next guy is someone that may surprise you. And again, this is a prediction video and one that I think is a very good player, a player that played very well at the start of last season. But I think will have a resurgent year this year and hopefully a better situation. And that's Jordan Westburg for the Baltimore Orioles. Westburg's a player that last year did not make the All-Star game, but the year before that he did. He hit 265 this past year, only 17 homers in 85 games, though. He only played 85 games. I think this year he'll be healthy, and if he's healthy, he will be extremely, extremely productive. He's only played 260 games in his career and has 38 home runs. I think this year we could expect a 30 home run season if he plays 150 games,
which I'm predicting he will. Obviously, we don't know. He's been injury prone in the past, so I would understand you being a little bit more wary about him. But if he is healthy, and I think he will be this season, he could be extremely potent on a Orioles team that hopes to get back to the levels that they were at previously.
Yeah, it is a prediction video. I need to see it before I put him there, but we will have to see what happens. So he did not make my list, but now we can go into my 4, which is this is where I have Alex Bregman from the Cubs. Recently signed with the Cubs, had a fantastic year with the Red Sox, and kind of distanced himself from the Astros and just kind of what that means. And given the quote unquote 2 World Series he's won with the Astros, one legitimately, the other is under debate and should have an asterisk by it, but that's old talk. But he's kind of distanced himself from that. He provides great leadership with the Red Sox, which with a young team, and I think he continues to do that with the Cubs this year.
Yeah, one. I mean, I don't even have to make an argument from 2017. We know that entire ordeal. My number 4, though, I have Matt Chapman. Chapman is the best third baseman fielder in the league. I think still, even though he didn't win the Gold Glove this past year at third, I still think he is the best at that position. Actually, Brian Hayes is amazing. It's really close between those two. I think Chapman is still that level. Still, Hayes, that is entire. That's how he makes his money. And again, we talked about Eugenio Suarez. He's not going to be playing third base because of that. So I have Suarez in my DH video, but Brian Hayes and him, I think, are 1A, 1B. I still think Chapman is a true contender for a Gold Glove this year. The only reason why he's a little bit lower on my list is because he has struggled hitting-wise recently. He has a 231 batting average. Yes, he has a 120 OPS plus, which is, again, he's 4th for a reason. I just think he's slowed down a tiny bit defensively, even though I think he's still a top 2, 1A, 1B, could win a Gold Glove this year. But he's not overpoweringly the best like he was the previous 2 seasons when he won it. And then his hitting has kind of slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit higher than you as he is my 3 with the Giants. His defense is fantastic. And yes, while the offense did struggle last year as he hit 231, he did get 21 homers. And I think he does enough offensively that I think he starts to hit better for average this year, which is why I put him in that top 3. Because his defense is so good that if you can just get enough from that offensive side, it makes him one of the best third basemen.
Yeah, but you have to make sure you get enough, right?
Yeah, and that's where I'm banking on the prediction of I think he does do enough offensively.
Okay. My number 3 is Alex Bregman. Bregman also missed some time last year with injuries. It seems like that was a common trait for a lot of these top 10 third baseman candidates. And I think that Bregman's going to have a lot of success in Chicago. He obviously was courted to go there the year before, but obviously signed with Boston, had a good year with them. And I think he has a great year in Chicago. It's not the hardest place in the world to hit. He'll have a lot of chances in a weaker division to kind of excel. And I think that there's technically MVP candidates. It's so hard to win it in the NL and AL with Ohtani and Judge. And even if you want to go it'd be hard to win it over Skeens or Skubal if they have a great season too. Like these third basemen would have to have stellar level seasons. The cream of the crop at the very top of both of these leagues is extremely talented. I could see Bregman being in a conversation for that, but it's just going to take so much for him to win it.
Yeah, I could see that argument. I do think the guys I have at 2 and 1 have an easier argument because they have already been in those conversations. Bregman, I think, has been floated, and then he doesn't really back it up. While the other 2 have been legitimate candidates in previous years.
Well, I'd argue that Bregman, if he played anywhere near a full season last year, would have been under consideration, but obviously they didn't pan out.
Yeah, I think
he was second in MVP voting in 2019. Bregman was.
Okay.
I thought he was. He led the entire MLB in WAR.
Got it. Okay. I think there just has been a lot of talk recently about him, and I do think injuries that there can be an argument, but I'll go into my 2. I think Manny Machado always has those moments where he's the MVP, what he's doing with the Padres, And I feel like he does that again as the Padres continue to try to stay relevant and competitive in that extremely difficult division.
Yeah. Again, he's just been very inconsistent. He was second in MVP voting in 2022, and since then, extremely inconsistent. 258, 275, 275 these past 3 seasons. He only had a 118 OPS plus, and his defense has definitely slowed down. My number 2 is Junior Caminero. Like I said, I had him very high.
He hit 45 home runs and had 110 RBIs last season. I don't think enough people are talking about how good this player is.
Like you said, he's young. It's funny, as we record today, he's 22 and 222 days old. Just funny, that's a lot of twos, but a great player. He only had 4.4 WAR or B WAR this past season. Yeah, he hit 264, but he had a 846 OPS with a 131 OPS plus, meaning that he hit 31% better than the average hitter. And again, like I said, 45 home runs, 110 RBIs. He was 9th in MVP voting, and I think that he'll finish top 5 in the AL MVP vote this year.
Okay, we will have to see about that. But I think that goes to our one where Jose Ramirez with
Not even close.
the guard. Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's funny because so many people are like, Jose Ramirez is the most underrated player in baseball, this, that.
But every list I've ever looked at for third baseman the past 5 years says that he's the best third baseman in the game. Maybe Machado gets up there sometimes. Maybe Arenado when he was an MVP candidate. But
there is no player in the league, in my opinion, that has been more consistent over the past 6 or 7 years than Jose Ramirez. Like just pure, no injuries, no problems. He's just going to give you in between 5 and 7 WAR every year. He's going to play almost every game, and he's going to hit 30 home runs and get 30 steals.
I mean, that's just really what he does every year or better.
And this past season, he was 3rd in MVP voting.
Even though I say Caminero could be a top 5 or be like 5th in MVP voting, I don't know if he really has a chance to win it. But I think J-Ram has a chance every year to win it,
even though he hasn't. And he's been top 10 in MVP voting every single season since 2017, except for one.
That is insane.
He's a guy that he would be the favorite if I had to choose a third baseman. But there can definitely be contenders, as we've talked about. But yeah, he is extremely consistent and has been the offense for the Guardians for the past few years.
Yeah, I mean, without words, he's the best third baseman in the game. It's not really even all that close. It's kind of making me sad because a lot of these I don't think are really arguments at the top. A lot of these ones we've done, we did starting pitchers, and I think there is an argument, even though I think both of us had Skubal at 1, right?
Yeah, both of us had Skubal, but you can make an argument. And there's an argument at the top, but it kind of goes in of like, yeah, he's 1. Okay, you can have an argument with 2 through 2.
Yeah, okay. 5. The closest argument I do think is probably first base between Freddie and Vlad. We both chose Freddie. And then probably the second closest would be starting pitchers. I definitely think Skubal's the better of the 2. But second base and third base, it's not close. I mean, Ketel is by far the best second baseman. And then third base, I don't think any of those guys are that close to J-Ram.
Yeah, and it is surprising since Ketel and J-Ram are both switch hitters.
Yeah, which makes them extremely dangerous to show cards.
Yes, that is very true. Yeah, we'll have to see how they do in real life, but also in the show with the people using them. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We appreciate you listening to Outsiders Opinions.